Hello. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. I am still getting things packed up, but I think today we're going to take a little break from packing. We're almost done, so we don't have much to do besides the kitchen, which is a pretty big task, but you can't do that until sort of the last minute because, well, you have to eat and stuff. So this weekend we'll be packing up the kitchen and stuff. So today I was just coming to talk about the small steps. And when I say small steps, I'm talking about giving yourself some credit for the small steps that you take in life. You know, I mean, for most of us, when we're thinking about our lives, and for many of us, when we think about our lives, we think about all the things we wish we had done, or the things that we want to do and have yet to accomplish. You want to start your own business, but you haven't exactly made it to the point where you can start your own business. You want to be a better parent to your children, but you feel like maybe you're falling behind on that. You want to get your degree, but you've only just gone to a couple of classes and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, you really need to give yourself credit for small steps in life and whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And this is just sort of a little blog off the blog I was talking about my own, journey and everything regarding my miscarriage and how it had taught me one thing is that I'd made some steps. Even if there were small steps, I made some steps. I'm better than I was before and stuff. And then kind of the must and bustle of life and doing everything that we do, we never sort of sit back and think about all the stuff that we may have accomplished, even small steps, and stuff. We only think about the big ones, the big thing that we haven't overcome yet, instead of the little things that are getting us toward overcoming the big thing and stuff. Now, my own sort of journey trying to, increase my faith and, and be more obedient to what God's purpose is for me and things like that. Trying to be more patient and stuff like that. It's just sort of going, it's going slowly, but it's not going. It's actually, I'm making steps. I'm doing stuff. Now imagine if you're running a 5 mile race and you start off the race and you're running and you're only halfway down, but it seems like it's still the same 5 miles. And I think for most of us, that's the way we see things. Instead of seeing that maybe we have accomplished 2.5 miles, we look at the end and think, oh my goodness, I have 5 miles to go. Instead of looking back and seeing where you come from. People always say, oh, well, don't look back on the past, don't look back on the past. But there are some times where it's appropriate to look back on the past. And those are the times when you're trying to figure out, I wonder how far I've come here. I wonder how far it is what it is that I've accomplished. And then be proud of yourself. I am not the most patient person in the world. Have never been and stuff. And patience is always sort of something that I struggle with, being patient with people and stuff. And, at some point I was trying to be more patient. And it seemed that it wasn't really working. It seemed that, every day that I tried to be more patient, it just seemed like something would happen and my impatience would end up showing. And one day I'm standing in the grocery store and a woman in front of me is getting her groceries and she pulls out her checkbook to write a check. Now, usually when I see people pull out a checkbook, I'm just like, are you joking? Are you still using a checkbook? And stuff. It was just like, oh my God, and stuff. And usually in my own spirit, I start to get agitated because I'm thinking, this is going to take forever. And she was an older lady too. So I just thinking, this is going to take forever. And then they want to write it in the registry and all this stuff. And I just thought, oh, Lord have mercy. We're going to be here all day with her writing this check and stuff. But and so that's sort of my usual thought process. But that day, for some reason, as the lady was standing there writing the check, I just sort of stood there. And I was standing there and I just sort of looking around, and smiling at the person who's looking like, oh, I'm so sorry and stuff, and I'm just like, oh yeah, and stuff, and then I get up there, I'm so sorry, and I'm just like, it's no big deal. And so when I get outside and I put my groceries in my car and I sit in my car and I think to myself, you know, I really need to take some pride in what I just did. That's a big accomplishment, even though it's a small step on me getting to the point where I'm more patient or patient. That was big for me not to get agitated in my own spirit at this woman writing a check and stuff. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just like, that's a good thing. And so I was like, thank you, God, for that thing, and stuff. And so, some of us are wanting to do things or praying to do things. And when little things happen, we don't really acknowledge that. We don't really, say, thank you, God, for helping me to do that. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm still not a patient person. I'm still not very patient, but I'm more patient than I was and stuff. And so if you're in the process of trying to go to school and say that you've just taken a few classes or something, or you've gone in to see someone, or you're filling out your application or whatever, or you're halfway through, or you're maybe taking a class a quarter or something like that, and it seems like forever, it won't be forever. I know in this microwave world that we live in, everybody wants everything instantaneously. They just do. That's just the kind of world we live in. We want stuff yesterday, and stuff. Everybody is into instant gratification instead of knowing sometimes gratification has to be delayed. So you decide you want to lose weight, but you haven't lost 30 pounds in a month. Well, first of all, losing 30 pounds in a month is really, really unhealthy and stuff. You've just lost 2 pounds this week, which is actually a huge accomplishment, and stuff. 2 pounds add up. So if you lose 2 pounds every week for 4 weeks, that's 8 pounds. At the fifth week, that's 10 pounds. That's a lot of weight, okay? And instead of you getting mad, and that's what happens is we get mad and frustrated because it's not happening fast, and then we're just like, oh, I just don't want to do this anymore and stuff, and we give up, instead of us taking pride in the small steps that we make and being like, you know what? I lost 2 pounds this week. That's really good. I'm going to accomplish my goal and keep going. We just sort of give up, and stuff. Now I'm going back into doing exercise again. I go back and forth sometimes with exercise, but I want to get back into doing exercise and stuff. And then, yeah, it started frustrating because I think, oh, a lot of the work that I do, will I make it this time? Will I continue with my regimen and stuff like that? But mostly I should just be happy once we get back exercising, and stuff. It doesn't matter if I lose 10 or 20 pounds. The thought of me exercising is actually for my heart, because I'm a diabetic and I need to make sure that my heart is working well and stuff. So it's mostly for that. So once I start going, and stuff, I need to keep the focus on what it is I'm trying to accomplish. It's not this instant gratification thing. If you're not the CEO of your own business or running your own business right now, and you've just taken a couple of business classes, you ought to be happy that you did that. You ought to take some pride in the small, because the small steps are what add up into this big step to get you from point A to point B. You've got to start and keep going to somewhere. Don't be so down on yourself if everything isn't happening sort of instantaneously. Really think about where you've come from. Think about the points where you were at. If you were 200 pounds and now you are 180, that's a huge accomplishment. Okay. It's a small step in the bigger accomplishment of whatever it is, but that's something that you could take some pride in. You've done something that it's hard for pretty much everybody else, in the United States to do. You've lost 20 pounds. Most people do not even have the discipline to do that. Okay. And stuff. And so take the pride in the small steps. If you're trying to, If you're trying to become a better parent, or as a parent, and you're trying to figure out how to spend more time with your kids, and instead of doing that thing that you always do and sort of sit your child or your family to the side, you decide not to do that and spend time with them, even if that's just once a month. When you decide to come home and not stay late at work, and stuff. It's small, but it's big, and it means something to other people. I don't even think we know what it means to other people when we do these things and stuff. I don't know, I mean, I don't know if we realize how much it matters to other folks, and stuff, or even how much it matters to us, because we don't really acknowledge it. We're so busy sort of beating ourselves up for not being perfect people and stuff, and not sort of being, this thing we see on the TV or on the magazine, or on the movie screen or whatever, which is not even real life, and stuff. And you're trying to really be the best you can possibly be. And if you're moving towards, in small steps, being the best you need to take pride in that. You need to acknowledge it, and stuff. It's not something you should just set aside. When I thought about how far I had come in my faith walk, and I hadn't even thought about it. It hadn't even occurred to me that I'd come that far. But I'd come that far in having more faith at the point, a little bit after the miscarriage, and I started really thinking about, well, what is it that I'm learning from this and stuff, and that occurred to me, is that you've come a little further in your faith walk. You're a little bit better at having faith. I just thought, well, thank you, God, because that was something that I desired and wanted, and stuff. And it was something that happened. So what it reassured me as a believer, it reassured me that, first of all, God was actually listening to my prayer, and He answered prayers, and things happen. Okay, so don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so down on yourself. Think about it right now. Just think about something that you were wanting to do, and think about but you may not have gotten to that big moment. But think about the small steps that you have taken towards that. Think about that. Pat yourself on the back. Be pleased with yourself because you did that. Be thankful that that's occurred. You know, we've all got to start somewhere, and we're not going to instantaneously get to wherever it is that we are, and stuff. And there are many things that I want to accomplish, many things that I want to be and be better at, many things that I'd like to, I'd like to have happen in my life and stuff. And so I think about those things, although those things are really big, but I try to think about the small steps that I make toward them. I try to acknowledge that and not just kind of kick it out of the window as if it doesn't matter. It does. It gets you to your end result, to where it is you want to be. So it does matter. It matters a lot. And you shouldn't ignore what those little accomplishments that you've made. They matter in the end, big accomplishment. You can't get there without having those small steps towards getting there. And so I wanted to make this vlog today because I was just thinking about that, and I think about people that I know and stuff, and like I say, I know we can be hard, we can be hard on other people. I know many of us are hard on ourselves. I can certainly be hard on myself and stuff, but give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. And think about the small accomplishments that you've made. Acknowledge those. Don't ignore them and act like they don't matter. They do matter because they're getting to you to your big goal. Okay? Okay, well, that's my pep talk for the week. So I'll be back at some other time. I'm not really sure whether I'm going to be back again doing vlogs, Um, with all the moving and stuff that's going on and everything and all the stuff that kind of needs to be done before I move it may or may not happen. So I may just see you and you'll end up seeing me in a new surrounding at a new place hopefully pretty soon. But until then, I'm just hoping everybody has a wonderful week, that you're enjoying the first day of spring. I hope it's beautiful wherever you are. It's just sort of windy here and stuff. So, and say, who knows? Usually spring here is kind of wet. But I'm glad we've got a new spring and I was here to enjoy the first day of it. So I'll talk to everybody later. Okay, bye bye.